So it's the same kind of gig. And given that, we're going to do a cage match. So for those of you who've never seen our show, a cage match works like this. Lacius does ringside commentary, and Lacius tries to guess what the other person's going to say, and then the two of us together try to see if we can out financial plan them. So it's usually, so we're going to watch Dave Ramsey's crew take a call here. What is the call? It's this woman owes $32,000 on a car that's only worth $18,000. So she's underwater on her car. So you ready to go? Cage match. Bum bum bum.
Courtney joins us up next in Jackson, Tennessee. Courtney, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help today?
So I'm like super upside down on my car, and I am in baby step number 2, and it's actually my highest debt, but it's causing me so much trouble. Not the vehicle, but the payment itself. It's just outrageous. So I'm trying to figure out what to do as far as, my vehicle goes.
How much do you owe on the car?
I owe about $32,000.
Okay, and what is it worth right now?
$18,000.
Oof. How did it get to this point? What'd you buy the car for?
After interest and stuff, it was $49,000.
So you paid $49,000 for it. What was it worth at the time you bought it? You think it was worth $49,000?
I don't remember. I want to say it was like 35 or so, and the interest is what's like got it all messed up.
What's your payment and what's your interest rate?
I pay $688 a month.
Oof.
Yeah, it's rough.
What's
the interest rate is 15.12%.
Why did you get such a terrible interest rate?
Oh, wow. So let's that's tricky. So the car, so she's says it's worth 38, or she owes 38. Was it 38? 32, and she owes 18. Sorry.
Okay, wait, let's get that number again. So she owes 18.
She owes 32.
But she owes 32.
The car is worth 18 if she sold it.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
So she's 14K underwater. Now she's saying, well, maybe it was the interest rate or whatnot, but then she said she initially bought it at 49, right? And she said it was probably only worth 35 when she bought it. So she was already 14 underwater when she bought it. If that's true.
Like, that purchase doesn't even make a lot of sense to me, honestly. Just, like, literally her recap of the purchase is pretty confusing. But,
unless she bought a bunch of, like, warranties and other shit that was unnecessary.
Or would she, could it be one of those things, and maybe she's not saying it correctly, where she was underwater on something and rolled it in?
No, I don't think so. I think she's saying she bought it like that.
That she literally bought it for too much?
Yeah. When she's saying she's paying $680 a month, I don't know. Let's hear some more, because this is not adding up.
Yeah, let's see if she tells us more.
Yeah. Let's see what she says.
Honestly, I'm not sure, because this was the first vehicle I ever financed.
So this is the first one. So this was not a different car that she rolled into this.
Before, after that, I got other debt, but before the car, I had like $3,000 in student loans, and that was like all that was on my credit.
Oh my goodness! What's the term for this? How long is the loan for?
6 years.
6 years.
What kind of car is it?
A 2018 Volkswagen Tiguan.
Okay, how long have you had it?
8 months, and that's how low the value has gone in 8 months.
It's gone down.
Wait. Now none of this makes sense.
Right, because if you bought it for 49, how is it you got it down to 32 in 8 months when your payments are $600 a month?
Yeah, over 688, it's almost 7. But even then, it's you haven't even
But
paid
7 times 8, like that's less than $6,000 that you've paid in payments.
but you've
So
paid
you
down
should have like
17,000.
right, and you should be down more like at 42, give or take.
Oh no, you should be
Not
closer.
32.
She should be closer to 45 at this point.
Right, sure. I'm even playing the optimist here, but like not even doing hardcore math, but like she should be still above 40 is my point, not in the
Yeah.
low 40s.
No, she shouldn't. Yeah, she should still be well above 40. So I think she's got this all mixed up. But let's assume the car is underwater. Let's just go with that. She's probably got the numbers fucked up, but you know, let's just assume it's underwater. Okay, so let's see where they go from here, and then you
Bought
can
it a
jump
little
in.
too high priced.
Maybe I bought it, but I was just thinking, wow, it's decreased in value, I guess.
Who
But
sold
that may
this car
actually
to
be
you?
the case. The dealership I worked for.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it like a coworker that's a friend, or how did that happen?
Yeah, it is a friend, but I don't work in the sales department. I work in the service department. But yeah, it was a friend, and I'm not sure, like, if they
Have
were
you
trying
talked to
get
them
me or
about
anything.
this?
I have,
What did they say?
and I think that
Well, I don't know. Do you have a thought of what they're going to tell her to do here? This is a weird one.
This is a super weird one. I mean, has she even said an actual question yet? Is it just a "what should I do about this car" question?
Yeah, I
in
think
general.
she's just stressed about the payments. My thought was, well, first, I mean, if you're working at a dealership, we've gone through this before. A lot of dealerships will reimburse you for the car if you buy it from the dealership. Maybe she just hasn't applied for that program.
Right. I was going to say, if it's the dealership she works at, I thought they had some sort of like a program where she gets a stipend for her, or I don't know if they call it a stipend, but you know what I mean, some sort of a reimbursement or stipend for the vehicle situation.
Yeah, because they can get deductions, but I some do, some don't. I don't. Maybe hers doesn't, but I would think they do. And if her friend sold it to her, maybe they thought that's what was going to happen. In the interest of this, though, I mean, she works for the dealership, so you don't want to ruffle too many feathers, right? But I don't know what they're going to suggest. I can tell you.
Well, I'm not really sure what they're going to suggest either, because like she also hasn't posed much of a question. We haven't heard if she didn't say what her income is exactly either, right? She didn't.
No, not
She's
yet.
told us about this car, but I don't think she's given us details about the rest of her picture. So that makes me not sure what they'll say. But I can't help but wonder if one of them is going to throw out there the idea of maybe she could get them to take it back. It's the dealership she works for, and like, I don't know.
I don't know that. Something tells me they're not going to do that. I would say this is things that I would like if she were coming into my office, right? I mean, I'd have a lot more questions about what this is. I'd like
I want to know more about her financial situation aside from the vehicle too. So I don't know what they're going to offer, because I'm not sure even what I would offer different from them, because I'm not sure anything else about her picture yet.
Well, she could go get she's paying 15% interest on a car, which seems really high. But it doesn't just seem. It is extremely high.
Probably in-house financing stuff too, which is like the most expensive sort of way to finance a vehicle. She could probably get something better, even if she doesn't have a ton of credit, like at a local bank or credit union or something.
Well, I mean, if she owes a 32, I mean, she could give a personal loan, which would probably be 10 or 12%, which would save her some money. But like you said, probably the easier thing to do would be go to a bank and say, hey, can I refinance this car loan for a more reasonable interest rate? That would be an easy solution to at least get her interest down and her payment down. The other thing is I don't know. She's in Tennessee. I don't know what the rule is there, but most states have what's called a lemon law, and she's only had the car for 8 months. So under that law, I mean, if you feel you got cheated or something, you could return the vehicle and void the contract.
However, that's really Harry being her employer to go lemon law
Yeah.
your employer, you know.
Well, it might be something
I
she
agree with you,
can go to
but-
her manager and say, hey, this is too much for me and blah, blah, blah. Is there something we can do that's reasonable or fair?
That's kind of in alignment with the, hey, will you guys take this thing back from me?
Right, and get me
thing.
out.
Almost, you
Right.
know.
If you're not in her position, you could, lemon law is one thing. Talk to an attorney, because any contract is like a loan contract is still a contract, and you can contest it. And in this case, 15.12% on a car loan is super, super high. And if she feels she got cheated, they could potentially rescind the contract, and she'd just be out the money she's out. But she'd get the car gone, and she'd get that, she wouldn't have that underwater car and all that debt anymore. Right. So there's legal ramifications you can do, and you just call the local courthouse, or get a referral from the local bar association, whatever, this Tennessee State Bar, and just say, hey, do you have any attorneys that can handle this? Because they could probably get it, either rescinded or renegotiated or something. And it might be worth the money to do that. Especially if you're in that kind of 14,000 underwater. Right. Yeah, it just sounds to me like she kind of got screwed on this, and she needs to maybe go talk to an attorney and figure out what her rights are and what she can do. And she might want to go talk to a couple banks and see if they can refinance, because banks will buy the loan if they can give her a lower interest rate, because they'll take it. But yeah.
So I have this other, maybe they'll go there. They've told people to do this sort of stuff in the past, and I'm wondering if they might possibly go to the place of, hey, you've got this down to 32,000, so it's worth 18, and then ask her, is that the Kelly Blue Book? Where does that price come from? Or is that just what you can get from it at the dealership? Because if you try to sell at private sale, you could probably get more, and then go take out a loan for the difference at your credit union for, a loan of $6,000 or $10,000 or whatever the difference is, and then you pay that off. Right? Like I'm
so pass it on to somebody else, kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of
I feel like it's one of two things. It's either maybe you can get them to take it back, or I think possibly the second option I offered could be the two routes they would go.
Fuck somebody else over.
Well, I
dump
don't
it
know
on somebody else, right?
Well, I don't know if it's the fuck somebody else over so much as it is dump the vehicle on somebody else, because they wouldn't be buying it for 49,000. They'd be probably buying it for 20 or something.
Yeah, but they'd still be buying it underwater. It's basically that argument. It's just what Charlie Munger just did. Sell the horse when the horse is acting good. And then let them find out that the horse is actually insane. After the fact. Oh, let's see if they do that. Let's see if that's where they go. I think that the better solution is to go see if you can refinance or talk to a lawyer and see if you have options. I think that would be the way I'd go, but
pretty much they're telling me at the time the market was just so messed up on cars.
Have you had any frank conversations with them, asking kind of what was the value of the car when you sold it to me?
I haven't, but that is a good idea. I'm actually on my lunch break right now, so I could do that when I go back in.
There's no way that car was worth $49,500 when you bought it, which is how much you're paying with all these payments.
I know. And actually, it was $55 after I put I did get all the warranties and things on it, but.
How long have you worked?
You can return that warranty, right, and get some money back out of this?
Yeah, I could return the warranty.
How much would that give you back?
Probably about maybe $5,000.
Okay. And how much money do you have in the bank?
I have about $2,000 in my checking account, and other than that, I just have $1,000 for emergency fund.
Okay.
How long have you worked for this dealership?
About a year now.
Do you feel like in general they typically have pretty good integrity?
Most of the time, yeah. And my coworker, he's actually a friend of mine, and you know,
I don't know where they're going with all this. Who gives a shit about the dealership?
She might be going to if they have integrity, maybe you can get them to take it back. It might be that actual route.
Well, but first you need to find out if you have any rights before you go ask.
Okay, right now we're talking about what advice they're going to give, not whether yours is better or not. Right. I think they're going to. I think she might be trying to steer toward the road. If they have integrity, maybe you can just get out of this and they'll take the vehicle back. Something.
Let's hope so.
Or some variation of that idea.
Yeah. I don't know what that does, though. I don't know why they would and take the loss for no reason.
Don't screw me over at 15% interest.
That's what I was thinking too. Is like I feel like I've been screwed over on it, and financially, that's a big.
I want to know how much this guy made off this deal.
Yeah, probably a lot. And I'm 22, so I'm not trying to be stuck in this for 7 years.
Ooh. Okay, so the $18,000 value that you say your car has, like, is that from Kelley Blue Book? Is that somebody at your job that said that?
KBB.
Is that private party or trade-in?
Yes, that's private party.
Okay, I'm going to still do some more homework and research every single place that buys used cars. And that's online, that's local dealerships, to see how much you could get for this. Maybe even try listing it and see if you can get more for it.
And this may not be the best advice, but if I'm in your shoes, I'm going to my boss and I'm saying, here's the situation. How is this car that I just bought 8 months ago for this price now worth 18? And kind of walk through the situation with your coworker. Because my hope is that as your employer, there's some sliver of heart there that maybe they'll even consider buying it back from you
at a higher rate.
Right, closer to what you paid for it.
Right. Yeah.
There's going to be a stupid tax on this either way. The only other option here to get out from under this thing soon is if you went to your local credit union and get a personal loan for $14,000 to cover the difference.
Right.
And now you're $14,000 in debt instead of $32,000 in debt at a much lower interest rate.
And I have other debt, but it's $7,800.
That didn't make any sense, but you called that when she was. You called it. She was right. You called that.
I called it on both of the options. They literally said both of the things that I said that they were going to. I'm going to actually put this in the bank for me on a double win. I've never claimed a double win, but I'm claiming a double win.
You got a double knockout.
On a call that was hard.
Yep. He both said
that was PKO.
He said try to pass it off. She said ask your employer and see if they'll take it back. Going to get
I feel so good about myself right now.
Yeah, well, I don't see his point. I'm going to go get a personal loan for $14,000 and do what? Pay off that portion of the car so it's not underwater? That doesn't make sense.
No. You missed the part where because they were both overlapping each other with the two things they were saying. Before he said that, he said that she needed to be looking into private party sale instead of the Kelley Blue Book stuff and see if you could get more out of it.
Right.
Then going to a credit union to get a loan for the difference, maybe it's a $14,000 loan or something like that, personal loan. So you're only paying off a $14,000 loan as opposed to this gargantuous loan that she's been on the hook for.
Right.
That was and literally just what I said. He used different numbers, but yeah.
As opposed to why don't we see if we can get this resolved, either legally or through a refinancing. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know that there's a great solution to that. I don't think either of theirs were any good. Because if she goes to her boss, then her boss might be sitting there thinking, oh, fuck, maybe she causes a problem. Maybe we should just fire her now. And she's 22, so she won't fight back. As opposed to, I don't know, I would say maybe go talk to somebody at the courthouse or somebody who's an attorney who can at least tell you what your rights are and what you could do. Because the other thing is let's say she does challenge them and says, hey, look, I want to get this contract rescinded and get out of it, right? Then the next thing she needs to know is, okay, well, if they fire her over that, then now she has a lawsuit for wrongful termination, which will look really bad on the dealership because we screwed a 22-year-old and oversold her a car, and then we fired her to cover that up. So she actually is a pretty decent legal position here to defend her rights. And I think that that's where she should start first, is not bucking anybody or confronting them or saying anything. Just first, let's figure out what my rights are and what I can potentially do. Because the lemon llama situation might not apply to the dealership directly. It might apply just to the salesman. And if you're the dealership, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to fire her for starting waves? Are you going to fire the salesman for ripping people off? You're probably not going to fire her because that'll look bad and you can get sued, as opposed to you could fire him for screwing her over. So there's lots of positions she could be in. There just needs to be a lot more information. And she doesn't even seem to know the numbers correctly. So I don't know. I'm not even going to call that a win. I'm just going to call it it's not even a draw. It's just, they just didn't decide. They just didn't analyze anything. There was nothing. There was no actual thought process for them. It was just.
Well, and in all fairness, she wasn't really posing a financial sort of planning question. It was kind of more of a, what do I do about, how do I get out of type of question too. So that's not really the best question for you to cage match on strategy, because it's just a one-hit thing. However, this was a really great one for me. I'm going to put that out there because this is not a standard advice thing, and I nailed it twice.
On the little bit of financial strategy that was evolved there, trying to say, hey, pawn it off on somebody else and then take a loan is not really a plan, because maybe you can't pawn it off for the same amount. Right?
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate, though, that, people have a vehicle and sell it all the time, and if she's capable of selling it to get out from under such a huge payment, that's a great thing. But it is a wild card. Who knows if you can do that or not?
Right. And on top of that, so the one is maybe you could do this, and the other one was you could go ask your boss, and maybe they'll help you out. They're not really solutions. They're just, you need to go beg or see if you can screw somebody else over. That's really all they had.
See, what I don't understand is how you think that's screwing somebody else over. People buy cars private party all the time, and if somebody has 20 grand to buy a car and they buy that car used, she didn't say the car didn't work. She just can't afford it.
No, but she's selling the car for more than it's worth, which, fine, whatever, but she just got screwed for that situation, and that's why she's selling it. So she's doing the same thing to somebody else that was done to her, which is causing her this problem. So there's a hypocrisy.
I'm not probably not looking at a private party, whatever situation. She was probably looking at what she could get at the dealership for it, honestly.
Well, the dealership took it for more money. That's on them. Right. But that's not what he was suggesting. He was suggesting she try to pawn it off on somebody else.
But I'm saying, when she said that it was worth 18 grand, that's not like a hard and fast number. That's like an estimate, and it's probably, there's multiple different kinds of estimates. There's what you could get private sale, which is usually a range, not usually just one number, right? And then there's what a dealership would give you, which is usually a lower number. And what I'm saying is, we don't know which one she gave. That might be what the dealership would give her. Private party,
it
might be something that could get you more.
That's not what was suggested. The suggestion was, see if you can pawn it off on somebody else for a higher number. That was what was suggested. Right. That was kind of what he was suggesting. Because she could turn around.
It doesn't necessarily mean the other person's getting screwed over. The other person might be able to afford to buy a $20,000 car.
That's not worth $20,000. So yeah, they got screwed over. That's just a fact. They bought a car, they overpaid. She overpaid. Now she's going to make somebody else overpay. That's That was sort of the deal. I'm not saying don't do that. I don't have a moral compass on that sort of thing. But my attitude is it's kind of like, doesn't really solve the problem, though, of you still are underwater in this shit. Unless you can get $32,000 for an $18,000 car, it doesn't solve your problem.
Oh, I can't imagine it's got a range like that.
That's why
its range might be, you can get anywhere from 15 to 20,000 off of this thing is probably what the range is, you know?
Right. But it doesn't solve your problem.